Hello everyone, Garnet here, and I thought I would do a bit of a video from Keeper Toby's video of if he was an evil team leader. It seemed like a really fun idea, so I thought I would come up with my own. So I just thought I would do a bit of a video and get that up for you guys. And yeah, I just thought it would be quite an interesting one to develop into. So my team would be Team Enhance. The general premise of my team is kind of a mix between Colress and Cypher. The general idea is that they are scientific researchers attempting to discover the true power of Pokemon by unlocking it by any means necessary. As such, they have done a lot of research into things that people may consider to be unethical, for example, Shadow Pokemon. And snagging, they are not against snagging. It's sort of like that would be one of their things, is that certain members would have snag machines, although would be unable to use them on you, they would potentially use them on friends of you, basically. But that's not their main thing. Their main thing is an enhancement chip. The enhancement chip looks a little bit like this, just a basic diamond with 8 pieces. This is also their team logo. The particular thing to note is that it has a bit of a rank system. So this particular one is the most basic rank, where they have one section coloured in. If they have 2 sections coloured in, they're higher, and it sort of goes up. So the admins have 7 sections coloured in, the boss has 8 sections coloured in. It is also notable that it sort of grows. You have them as ranks, even though most of them would be grunts, sort of like anything 6 or below would be grunts. They would sort of progress as it goes on, pretty much in correlation with your gym badge count. So it would sort of be when you're facing them at the beginning of the game, you would just be facing the low level grunts with 1. And it is also notable that one of their main things is a new sort of, I want to say forms, it's a bit tricky. It's basically the enhancement chip goes on a Pokemon's head. Please excuse my awful drawing of Stuffle here. So it's like we've got a Stuffle here, it's got a small chip on its head, and the more sections it's coloured in, the more of a boost it gets. The way that this enhancement chip works is it basically adds to base stats. Starting off sort of only allowing them to use it on weak Pokemon. So I imagine it's sort of early game, it can only go on basic Pokemon. Basic Pokemon that can evolve. So for example, basic Pokemon of Stuffle, which can evolve, it could be enhanced. Rattata, which can evolve, can be enhanced. But things like Combustion, where it's evolved, can't be enhanced, and words like Turtonator couldn't be enhanced originally, because they are unable to evolve. And then it would sort of be through the course of the game they would be able to put this enhancement chip on more and more things. I think this would be quite an interesting mechanic for the simple reason that it explains why the grunts are using such rubbish Pokemon at the beginning. It's like, oh, I'm using this level 10 Rattata. Why on earth are you using a level 10 Rattata? Because the chip only works on level 10 Rattatas. And ultimately speaking, their goal is not to dominate, not to take over, not to even win, just to collect data. So that way, even when you're beating them, you are still giving them that data, so you are still losing even by fighting them. As the game goes on, they would attack a lot of these sort of high-tech facilities. So imagining Kanto, they could fit into pretty much any region, but imagining Kanto, they would attack things like Silph-Co, and things like that. The premise behind them would be that they were once sort of proper scientists, proper organisation, but then they got booted out by the government, led by basically the Pokemon Professor. So again, assuming Kanto, they've got a grudge against Professor Oak, so that would sort of be one of the premises is they're trying to build the chip up, they're trying to get more technology, and they have an anger towards Professor Oak. So the fact that you are a representative of Professor Oak, or whoever the regional professor is something why they are sort of focusing on you a bit. So most of the grunts would sort of just use the normal trivial stuff, the dark, the ghost types. Sort of anything that's got about more than 2 or 3 on there would have an enhancement chip on 1 or 2 of their Pokemon visible, which boosts the stats a bit. I'm thinking boost the base stats by about 100. with the possibility of an easy and a hard mode, easy mode being boosting it by 50 sort of scattered throughout. and hard mode being boosted by 200. So in that way, it's kind of like Mega Evolution for bad Pokemon. So yeah, so their ultimate goals would be to try and enhance this chip and get stronger, and as we progress through the game, they would have. So, the organization would have 4 admins and 1 boss. So the first admin would be Leroy. He would be the weaker one. His signature Pokemon is the Evolution line. Whenever you face him, he will usually have a team of Evolutions. In his first encounter with him, I'd imagine you encounter him quite a bit, just like you do most of them. In your first encounter with him, he would have an Eevee with an enhanced chip on, and I'm thinking maybe like 3 Eevee with enhancements, but they're all just Eevees. Then as we progress, they would then evolve into the Evolutions. I would imagine him just sort of having a rotation of each of the Evolutions, and sort of on his third battle, whereas his first battle will have full Eevees, on his second battle he will have enhanced Eevees and 1 or 2 Evolutions. From his third battle onwards he would have Evolutions that are enhanceable. As I say, when the plot goes on, the chip will get more advanced and they will be able to get the evolutions. Then we have Tommy. Tommy's signature Pokemon is Farfetch'd of all things. Tommy would be the first person that can use a Pokemon that can't evolve again as an enhanced Pokemon. So his Farfetch'd would be enhanced from the second you battle him the first time. And yeah, he would just sort of have a generic team beyond that. James would be the third admin. He would specialize in fire types, with his sort of partner Pokemon being Turtonator. Now it is notable that Turtonator has higher stats than the likes of Farfetch'd. It is a much better Pokemon on paper than Farfetch'd, so he would be sort of the third admin. Again, his Turtonator would always be enhanced, and that would be the point when we would actually break through the whole, oh wait a minute, this is now where Pokemon that can't evolve again are now capable of using the enhancements, no matter what their base stats are. At which point we then get to the quite interesting point of sort of like, there would be a lot stronger Pokemon by this point in the game, things like Snorlax and things like that, that can use the enhancement chip without any need for it. By this point, it would be noted though that the Pokemon would start to be under-leveled. So, for example, I would imagine you would first meet James around about the time you're getting your 6th badge. Let's just say hypothetically you're supposed to be level 40 at that point. He would have level 30 Pokemon, but the enhancements would make it so that it's sort of the equivalent of level 40, 45. So he's sort of on level with you, but it's the enhancements rather than level. And then the final admin is Matt. Now Matt is one where I can kind of see him being one of these people where he slips in, he's originally a rival, and then becomes the admin. Either he was always an admin in disguise, or he is becoming an admin. He has 2 signature lines, Blaziken and Metagross. It is notable, like I said, at the beginning he would be using the weaker versions of them because he is doing the enhancement chip. So first battle, I can just imagine it being like really early on in the game where he's not even registered as an admin at this point, where he's using like level 9 Torchic and level 9 Beldum. And it's just sort of like very bad, but with the enhancement chips. And sort of going on and on and on up until he eventually has Blaziken and Metagross, which would sort of be the big sort of your first big battle against Matt would be the moment when the chip is complete. That is it, full powered. Everything can now use the chip. I am imagining that sort of like in this, it would be just after the 7th gym battle, you would battle him and he would be using an enhanced Mega Blaziken or an enhanced Mega Metagross on his team. So he would be capable of Mega Evolution, he would be capable of Z-moves, and he would be capable of enhancements. He would be a very powerful opponent. Saying that his Pokemon would be so under-leveled that it balances itself out. So imagining you're level 50 at this point, his would still be about level 35, so it would barely be passable despite him having all of these boosts. And then finally we have the team the team leader, which the whole premise of this is it's based on me. So it would be Rich or Garnetto. He would have a quite interesting team, largely normal based would be a notable thing. He would have his first Pokemon he would always start with would be a very fun one, where it is an enhanced Ditto. So it would transform into your first Pokemon, copying all of its stats, and enhance it. So it would have that 100 boost on your first Pokemon you're sending out. And I'm just imagining that as a brilliant sort of thing where it's like, suddenly the guy now has a stronger version of your own Pokemon using against you. He would also use Raticate, Gardevoir, and Snorlax would be 3 of his big Pokemon. However, his signature Pokemon is Stuffle. Yep, that's right, Stuffle. Not Beware, this Stuffle will always be a Stuffle no matter what happens. It will stay a Stuffle throughout its entire time. It will be an enhanced Stuffle. The thing to note is that it would be an over-leveled Stuffle and enhanced. So that would sort of be one of his strongest Pokemon, despite just being a Stuffle. I'm also imagining that he would have a special enhancement chip where it would be a higher enhancement than others. So basically that Stuffle would be the strongest member of the team, even though it is there. So you would sort of face them quite a few times. The final climax would be when the team is trying to basically get the strongest Pokemon that they can imagine. So they would be trying to find the strongest Pokemon they can find. And as they are scientists, they would be using cold, hard facts and figures. So they would be looking at the strongest stats. And the strongest stat Pokemon in existence is Mega Rayquaza. So they would be hunting down Mega Rayquaza and Mega Mewtwo to try and catch them and turn them into enhanced Pokemon. And they would sort of be the pinnacle of the invention. They would have it, they would have a chip that can enhance Rayquaza and make him Mega Rayquaza enhanced so strong, and then they would have this chip that could bring out the power in any Pokemon, and that is their ultimate goal. And they would achieve it. You would just sort of miss out on achieving it. It would sort of be you'd arrive where they're going to catch Mewtwo or Rayquaza, assuming it's kind of, I'd assume it would be Mewtwo. And it's sort of like they caught it, and that's sort of the thing. You have to battle it to free it from the enhancement chip. Through this, you also end up having something where they have had to network them or something like that. So during the final battle, you would destroy all the chips except for the ones that the admins are using. I can imagine that you would sort of have a bit of an after battle where it's like the whole plans have been finished. You go, you're about to face the gym leaders, and then all of a sudden Garnetto jumps you with his ultimate team, all enhanced, all powerful, all trying to sort of fight you properly. And it would be sort of there, and during that battle you would end up getting one of the early chips. I think that the whole idea of the Golden Stuffle chip or the Mega chip is just too overpowered, but it would be basically Evo-like that boosts the attack or special attack or something like that. And that would be sort of what the chip would be. When you're using it, it would be a held item, and it would just sort of be boosting Pokemon that are capable of evolving again. And I think that that would sort of be how that would go. I do also imagine you never truly defeat them. They just decide to go to another region where they are more welcome with their research. My sort of headcanon is that wherever they're beaten from, they would go to Ore, because Ore is where Shadow Pokemon and that lot are not acceptable, but Cypher got away with a hell of a lot. So I can sort of imagine they would have fled to Ore and be continuing their research there. Probably something new, because they've done the chip and it was sort of that would have gone down as a failed experiment, or an experiment they took as far as they could and they're trying other means to try and boost it up. So yes, that would be my evil team if I was an evil leader. That would be sort of how I would proceed with it. I think that the chip idea is quite an interesting one, because not only does it explain that problem that all of the games have where these criminals are using weak Pokemon, it would also explain them using more odd choices. It's like, yeah, we can enhance a Stuffle to be incredibly strong. And so they do. It's like the Stuffle will be stronger than the Beware. And that would sort of be the idea behind it that I like. I like that as the sort of thing. So yes, that's sort of what I would see as my evil team. It is one of those where everyone is invited to do their own. I'm very interested in them. I actually really love seeing them. I've seen quite a few. I love Keeper Toby's Sleepy team. I love Gator X's Team Hydra, I think he called it. And I'm very much looking forward to Noggin's one. I've seen quite a few more, but those are sort of the three biggies that I've seen, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing more. If you do them, then leave a comment down below, and I will have a watch. And yeah, and also don't forget to let Keeper Toby know that you're doing it as well, because yeah, it would be quite interesting for him to see it as well. So yeah, I think that's about it then. If you want to see more of me, look at my channel. I've recently done a video which I think is very good about Necrozma and Nevi's true origin. And yeah, and I did a breakdown of the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon trailer, and I will be having a lot more Pokemon content in the run up to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as well as sort of the after effects of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. There will be a lot of theories to break as those games come out. So yeah, I will be covering them, and yeah, so if you do enjoy, please leave me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you next time.